Hello book besties, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. I feel like it has been forever since I have sat here and filmed a video for YouTube. I'm very excited to be filming today. October has officially come to a close, so I am here to share with you the 6 books that I read in October. As always, I am terrible at describing the plot of books, so I will be putting a description, a short little blurb somewhere on the screen. But first up, we've got The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. I read 6 Crimson Cranes in September, and it was one of my favorite young adult fantasies that I have read all year, and I really like this one. 6 Crimson Cranes, I did give 5 stars. I gave this one 4. I love this one. I still think that it was great. In the book, the main character goes to like the land of dragons, and I would have loved to see a little bit more about that. It seemed like that was kind of skipped over really quickly, so I would have loved to like get to learn more about dragons because I love dragons. But still, the writing was beautiful. The love story was just, it was really surprising because I had not expected to fall in love with these characters the way that I did, but I honestly really like this one, so 4 stars. And then we've got The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and this was my book club's pick for October, and I loved it. I have not read a mystery since I think Frida McFadden's The Housemaid's Secret, which was like months ago, so I didn't realize how much I actually missed like mystery thriller and trying to guess what's gonna happen next. It was just really good. There were definitely a lot of twists, but I love when books have a lot of twists because it just keeps me engaged, keeps me intrigued, and I literally could not put it down. In this book, I never knew what was going to happen next. Every single twist had me gasping, and I loved it. I devoured it. 5 stars. Then I read Acatar on my Kindle, and unfortunately I did not really love this one as much. A lot of people love Acatar, and I definitely understand the appeal, like I get it. I just think that it wasn't for me because I was expecting something like completely different. A lot of people told me that since I loved Fourth Wing that I would like absolutely love Acatar, but it just wasn't really for me, which is okay, so I ended up giving it 1 star. Also on my Kindle, I read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I love this book. I think it was so sweet. It was definitely really unique. I did give it 3 stars because a lot of like the time jumps and like just like some of the time things didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I was really confused about like a lot of things that were like going on in the book. I loved the love story. I loved the characters. I thought that they were all really nice. The writing was really good. Like I said, it was only just some of the time jumps that like confused me personally, but I've had friends that read it that said that it didn't confuse them, so it might just be me, I don't know, but I gave it 3 stars. I then read, and I love this one, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Definitely my favorite book of the month, and probably one of my favorite books that I have ever read. A lot of times with young adult fantasy, it takes me at least like 50 to 100 pages to actually get into the story and understand what's going on and like care about the characters, but like right from the start of this, I was hooked. I think that the reason why I loved Evangeline so much is because she was such a strong female main character that like wasn't really out for vengeance, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the times in young adult fantasies or young adult kind of books in general, the main character like is seeking revenge, which is great. I love a good revenge seeking, even though a lot of the things that she was going through would make anyone feel hopeless and just like lose faith in humanity. She kind of held on to the fact that she just loved love and wanted to be loved, and I think it was beautiful. 5 stars. The very last book that I read in October was The Dead Romantic. I also read this one on my Kindle. I gave this one 4 stars. I loved this book. I thought it was so good. I thought it was so well written, and I've never read anything like this, like ever. It's just really heartfelt, and it was about grief and how the main character Florence was like dealing with her father passing and then being able to see ghosts and all this kind of stuff, and it just wasn't what I had expected whatsoever. It was honestly just such a sweet romance story, and I absolutely loved it. 4 stars. Those were all of the books that I read in October. I would say that this was definitely a pretty solid reading month. It had like a bunch of different ratings, so I'm happy with it. This is my stack of November hopefuls, and they're hopefuls. I know for a fact that I will not be able to get through all of these because I just don't have the time to get through all of them. These are the books that I will be choosing from for November. First up, we've got Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I know for a fact I'm going to get through this one because it is our book club's pick of the month. I think that I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you wanted to join my book club, I will put a link in the description box down below, or you can join at the link in my bio. I'm really excited because it's a young adult fantasy romance. That's just my thing. Romantasy is just my favorite genre ever, so I'm so excited to dive in. Then we have What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walter. I bought this along with The Summer of Broken Rules, the other book by this author, like in the summertime, I think, and I have yet to pick them up. And I think it's pretty like fall-like, and since November is kind of the last month that I can like really mood read kind of fall reads, I'm very excited. I have Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This is another one that I have been putting off for no specific reason. I'm really excited to read it. I just have not found the time to. I think that it's kind of like a romantasy because I know that she's like the assistant to the villain and then they end up falling in love, but that's all I really know about it, but I'm very excited. Then we have If I Had to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun, and I just received this one in the mail yesterday in the September fairy loot box, and I'm so excited for it. There are such pretty sprayed edges and it sounds amazing. I had honestly never heard of it, but it sounds so good and I'm so excited to read it. I honestly might be the most excited for this one, but it's The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy. I believe that it's a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, and I love fairy tale retellings sometimes. Sometimes they kind of like fall flat for me, but I have very high hopes for this one. And there are sprayed edges, and I don't know if you guys can see, but Little Red Riding Hood is on the sprayed edges. And then we have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I am so excited for Iron Flame that is going to be coming out on November 7th. And I just started my reread of this book yesterday, and I am so excited to dive back into this world. This book has always meant a lot to me because the main character has the same chronic illness that I have, so I'm just excited to be back in that world. And of course, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros will also be on my TBR for this month. And then the very last book on my November TBR is A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the second book in the acatar series. Yes, I did not like the first acatar, but I have had so many people tell me that I am going to absolutely love the second book more than I love the first book. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm gonna try it. So that was it for my October TBR and my November hopefuls. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you'd like to connect with me on my other socials, you can follow me on Instagram at The Heartfelt Library, on TikTok at heartfelthan, GOODREADS at heartfelthan, or if you wanted to join my book club, you can join it at the link in the description box. I will see you next time.